Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or you're just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in to another Cringe Factory. This time it is the focus on Wizards of the Coast.
Yes,
They
we'll
are pretty
focus
much
on
the
that
gift that
while we
keeps on giving.
bump the pocket rabbit.
But they are the gift that keeps on giving, pretty much. You know, inevitably, without fucking fail, pretty much. They pull some shits. They pull some shits that just needs to be talked about. This needs to be talked about. And most recently, or one of the most recent examples, is sending Pinkerton thugs to a guy's house when all that really needed to happen is essentially a call from a lawyer or something, but like not a raid, not using Pinkertons to raid this guy's home. But at any rate, before I say hello to the chat and we start getting into these articles, Stieg, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Twitter, or if you swing by Norway. But stay the fuck off my lawn.
There you go. There you go. But anyway, so yes.
Actually, I lied. I don't have a lawn.
Well, you have to stay off of it anyway. He'll find a lawn and tell you to stay off of it. That's what he'll do, pretty much.
Yeah, just stay off something.
Yeah. But anyway, but obviously you can find me here. I also have a Twitch and Kick. So I'll be live on Kick tomorrow playing some more Halo 2. So that's going to be fun. But from the top, I see Trey Courtney says he's ready for the cringe. Well, hopefully you are ready because we got a good amount of cringe just on Wizards of the Coast alone to cover. Gaming or what? Hello, Drewdat Underground Gaming says greetings from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. Well, hope you're having fun. Hope you're having fun there. I've never been to Arizona. Farthest I've been is Texas, I believe. I think that's the farthest I've been. Because I did go to Oklahoma, but I think Texas is just slightly farther. Anyway, I think it's the furthest I've been. In these states, I should say, in the states. I have deployed overseas. But Jacobwatch says, "Oh no, not Wizards of the Coast. Don't know if that level of cringe is survivable." Yeah, they are a different breed. 1 minute late is not Nick Rekieta level. It's not Nick Rekieta level, nor is it nearly Nerdrotics level.
She was doing laundry, sir.
Yes, I was actually doing laundry. I literally ran up the stairs to toss a load of clothes into the dryer.
And older laundry machines are a bit slower.
Oh, shut up. Ms. Martin uses, hello. Good to see you. Riker1776. Well, YouTube is asshole when it comes to notifications. I don't know what it is, but I'll have certain things on for like to notify me, and it's like a 50-50 crapshoot, pretty much. So I don't know what's going on. Sultan Al Fahim, hello, good to see you. Thank you, Trey. Yeah, I got my bangs finally trimmed.
Trey is looking a bit pale today.
It's the do-rag phase. Do-rag Vince phase.
Who?
Vince McMahon. WWE. WWE World Wrestling Entertainment.
I know what that is.
Raw. Well, was the owner, pretty much.
Oh, I remember Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. I've seen it once. A while ago.
You just killed just about probably most in my chat with that.
Well, it's not available in Norway, sorry.
You would have accidentally heard names like Vince McMahon.
Maybe.
Untamed Mando says, oh, Wizard of the Coast. Yeah, they need to jump in a lake, pretty much. They really, really do. Super sticker from Gravy. It's like a shocked face, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Thank you for the super sticker, Gravy. Just like scroll that back up.
Did you hear Ellen DeGeneres passed away?
No, I didn't.
They found her face down in Ricky Lake.
Yeah. That joke is just another gift that keeps on giving.
It's deep.
Yes, it.
Sorry, I shouldn't have told it. That was a cunt move.
Speaking of cunts, I hope you enjoy that candle.
It's next to me.
Yes. This is my live. Yes, my YouTube live, which I normally have like a solo stream on Fridays, but this Friday I'm babysitting my niece, so I had to kind of forego the solo stream. But that
Both
is my
knees?
Hmm?
Is it both knees or just the right one?
Okay, first off, that's like really, really boomer of you. That's a really, really boomer joke. Niece. My niece. I'm babysitting her. Christmas. Yeah. Well, it'll happen. Hey, Soul Assassin, good to see you. Terra Crystal, hello. Well, so it was like years ago, but I'll believe you. I'll believe you, Gravy. Fuck Norris, hello. Summoning the rain. Believe me, I'm over rain right now. It's like been raining like on and off for the past 5 days. Yeah, YouTube is asshole, pretty much. Yeah, so he doesn't know who Vince McMahon is. Yeah, you just killed Trey.
Well, why would I know who that is?
Well, like, Stig was actually born in the Stone Age, so he was around for the first WrestleMania.
When was that?
Which one are we on now?
Well, which year was it?
Actually, I had to look that up. Hold on. I have no idea what year we're on now.
'Cause
I
don't know.
stopped watching wrestling 1985.
Yeah. I wasn't the only one around that time.
Yeah, but like you're much, 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 much older than me.
No. If it's 85, I was 6. And you?
Shut up.
That backfired a bit, didn't it? That backfired a bit, didn't it?
No, I said you were born in the Stone Age, so yeah, you're much, much older than me.
So you're Bronze
Where
Age
were you
then.
when Lincoln was shot?
Behind them.
All right. Okay. 40
Sorry.
comes All right. I was going to say, I couldn't
Pissed
remember
off America.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, single-handedly pissed off America. But anyway, you know, who else is pissing off America, pretty much? And that is Wizard of the Coast.
Yeah. Also known as Grand Wizards of the Coast.
Yes, pretty much. And so we're not exactly going to go into a full history. A full history of what Wizard of the Coast has been doing. But just to give you a little bit of perspective, like, this is really nothing new. Really, really nothing new. And Stig is the one who can really elaborate on a lot of this, pretty much. But, like, you know, they targeted Gary Gygax's son and Gary Gygax's son's wife, pretty much. All because the son referred to his wife as his woman.
Yeah, and the reason they targeted him was because he was bringing back the old TSR company,
Yes.
which was the Gygax D&D company.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden, Wizards had a competitor, and boom,
Yeah, so,
everything started attacking the guy.
Yeah. Which is of the man whom, like, there would be no Wizard of the Coast without the actual inventor of D&D.
Yeah, I actually know a guy who worked with Gary Gygax.
That's cool.
Yep.
But I'm saying, you know, basically, it's like, you know, it's like, what if it had been a competitor? Even though it's I say competition is good. I really despise companies that get too big. Namely, like, for example, Disney. Like, they need to be reeled back.
Well, you know, another thing though, which is I guess a good example is FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
You have FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer, which is actually better, but it doesn't sell as much as FIFA. But back in the 90s and 80s, you had like 10 or 12 different soccer games coming out. You know, Sensible Soccer, Micro Pro Soccer, it was all kinds of stuff. And then EA basically got a monopoly because they got the rights to use the players, the real players' names, right?
Yeah.
So now we just have FIFA, which is the same game every year. They don't even have to update.
We have monopoly laws, we have antitrust laws, and they don't amount to much when politicians' pockets are lined, pretty much. So, like Disney should have fallen under the monopoly laws and the antitrust laws, but no, they line the pockets of politicians to look the other way.
Yeah,
So-
I used to. This is something I don't talk about because, believe it or not, I don't really boast that much, unless it's joking. But you know, I used to work for a D&D company for a few years, and the competition was EA. No, sorry, it was Wizards of the Coast, and yeah, we didn't stand a chance. We didn't have marketing or anything.
Yeah,
we got great reviews and stuff from authors and D&D writers and stuff, but it's just
they
no
don't like
chance.
competition. They don't like competition because they want all the money.
Yeah,
That's how it
and another thing is in D&D you have established worlds, D&D worlds that you can play in. Forgotten Realms being the most prolific, and Dragonlance. If you're making something new, you're competing with something that has 30 years following, where people have studied the lore and all that, and
and then they also in changing their OGL ratio, which backfired on them royally. They were targeting third-party creators again because, and like it's like, and demanding a share of the profits for work that they did not do because it's from the third-party creators.
Yeah, you know, back in the day, stuff like that was encouraged. You know, to have fans and customers create their own modules and stuff. They could post them on forums.
I mean, like, I rarely talk about Star Wars, but the equivalent would be when George Lucas owned Lucasfilm, then he would encourage fan films.
Yeah.
And you fast forward to Disney, it's like you can't because they'll go after you for stupid shit like copyright, which is like nothing copyright about it. It's just a fan film. So,
yeah.
I know. I'm not saying they mean anything. I'm saying we have them, but they do mean shit. I'm saying, like, you know, they were put in place. They were put in place to stop companies from becoming monopolies. And again, the corruption goes all the way to the top, namely the politicians. So it really doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't really fucking matter what the laws are now. All that matters is when the right wheel is being greased and what politician and so forth. Pretty much, that's what matters.
Basically, it's monopoly without go straight to jail.
Yes. Is Wizards of the Coast like ESPN Swimsuit Edition equivalent? No. But hey, Dan, good to see you. You encourage fans to do things to promote your product that benefits both parties involved. Yeah, but now, I mean, I'll find the articles on the OGL one, but to give you perspective on what they did, if you weren't following that, I did videos on it.
Yeah, I mean, if I had published, you know, the D&D game that we played, I'd get in trouble. Because that would be a third-party creation, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a third-party creation. You would technically be in initial trouble, but they would demand profits, a share of the profits.
Oh, yeah, mine would be canceled. Because, you know, fucked up shit in that.
The article I used. Oh, come on. I hate this.
I mean, I literally had a gnome cast a shape-shifting spell and fuck Nina's cat as a cat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
I thought it made sense. So.
Well, it's you. So. Not really. Trying to find the articles I used. It's been a few months. So, because it happened back in January. Trying to find it.
Yes, correct, Gravy D. I do have some fucked up players in my D&D. It kind of goes in waves, though, because sometimes it's actually pretty tame. But then someone
it depends on the quest.
Yeah, and the state of mind of certain players that day.
Well, my state of mind is like, well, I'll find this. I'll use a Screen Rant article and like goes into the OGL 1.1 did. I'm trying to find. Come on. Okay. I'll go into this one here. Got so many fucking tabs open. Oh, Steve, while I'm bringing up the article, tell them what I did last quest. Never mind, I'll tell them. Well, you went.
I'm not sure what you did.
Remember how I got you guys to go to sleep?
Oh yeah, that was pretty tame. I mean,
No, I'm
worse
saying,
things has happened than that.
Like, building up her hand job stats. Well, tell them like what my feats are.
Yeah, Mara is playing a temptress because we're playing the Conan D&D, and a temptress is kind of like a bard except sexual, and she can at this point because she gets class feats and stuff. She can shag people, and if she does it in her special way, she can put them to sleep for 10 hours because of exhaustion.
Yep.
And it worked twice.
It worked twice.
I think they're still sleeping.
Yeah, so I got a sergeant to go to sleep, and I got a guard to go to sleep.
Yep.
So, yes. Conan D&D is very interesting. It is very interesting.
Well, to be honest, would you say the Conan game is actually more fun than real D&D?
Actually, in ways, it is a little more fun. I mean, I love, like I stop at 3.5 edition D&D. Like I love D&D. But Conan can be a bit more fun given the different classes and abilities you're given. Like literally, to give you guys an idea, all our characters started out as slaves. And you can own slaves in Conan D&D. Like, your characters can own slaves if you want.
It's literally on the inventory list in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you buy a beautiful, educated slave girl, I think they're the most expensive.
And technically, we were educated. Because, like the way you started the game, it's like the son of the, owner who, son kind of inherited us, taught us how to read and everything. So
yeah, so basically it's more adult than D&D, but it's not lewd or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like an like an R-rated sword and sorcery thing, kind of like Mr. the first Conan movie.
Yes, says I've been having from Hey D-Day, you slut. How are you? Fraction Filter, hello. I had friends asking me to come back to the D&D game team. I said I didn't want to sit at the same table where somebody would consider me racist for killing orcs and goblins. Yeah.
Oh, I would allow it. Like any way you want to kill them, yeah, do it. I don't care. Yeah, there will be consequences, but I don't think I've denied the players to do anything.
No, this is in Conan D&D, so it's set in the world of Conan. So it's basically like D&D rules, but it's not. But it's Conan world.
Basically, instead of having elves and dwarves and stuff, you have different human races.
Yeah,
like Cimmerian, which is from Cimmeria, where Conan comes from. You have Asgardians.
My character is Stygian, which is kind of like the equivalent of ancient Egypt.
Yeah. Teresa is from Nemedia, which is Italian-ish, maybe.
I think that's what you said. It's kind of like Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Like you're on an Italy-Greek sort of a landscape.
Yeah. Soul Assassin is asking Miss Martin if there's a chance for Conan lore videos. I can guarantee you that Teresa's going to have some Conan stuff coming up soon.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Honorary orc right here. Yeah. So yeah, but like, it's like basically that's what we've been playing so far, and we're close to finishing basically about the entirety of like our quests. So like we're finally on my character, and as far as her story, the only one like personal that like quests, like revenge quests that she has is to kill her aunt who killed her family so that the aunt could take power over because my character's family is kind of like from a wealthy not necessarily royal family, but royalish sort of a family, like basically aristocrats, it's equivalent. And so my aunt conspired with several others to kill my family, like my father, mother, and so forth, so that way it's like she could assume the power. And I survived. My character survived. Now she's taking revenge, and her aunt is the last one to exact revenge on. So
Yeah, I feel I failed a bit there because I had them, they got killed by poison, poison in the soup. And I'm like, after, the day after, I was thinking, shit, I could have done better. Like, had like one fed to the dogs, or like made it really gritty.
no,
But
you could have, but at the same time, it's like when you have a nefarious scheme, poison is generally the way to go
I
because they're
know,
unsuspecting.
and then you would have to take revenge on the dogs.
No, I would not do that. I would not actually not do that because they're animals. Like they don't know any better. My aunt, my half brother, and my cousin did. So I have perfectly fine offing them. Anyway, but here is the OGL. So basically, if you have not been following this, they had to backtrack royally, like a lot, given like the reaction from people when they found out what Wizard of the Coast was doing, because Wizard of the Coast thought that they kind of like slipped this under the rug and no one would notice or anything like that. But people actually read OGL 1.1 and said, "Wait a fucking minute, this is not right. This is not right." All right, there's to have a significant impact. All right, so I just want to see if I can go into. Okay, new OGL modifies the existing one. All right. Okay. Here it is, the new rules. The first OGL 1.1 alteration that D&D Beyond mentions is an increased clarity of what the OGL covers. The license will explicitly apply only to printed media and static electronic files of tabletop RPG material. Although Wizards of the Coast maintains this has always been the intent of the D&D OGL, some products using the OGL would no longer be permissible under these specific rules. The clarification of static electronic files would technically forbid things like interactive third-party Dungeons & Dragons character sheets tracking stats with dynamic PDFs, which basically forces the players to use D&D Beyond.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep. Another thing they do is if let's say someone makes a D&D video game, role-playing game, right? That game will have to use the current edition of the lore and rules. That's a thing they have. So they're doing the new Baldur's Gate game, Baldur's Gate 3, and it's using the 5th edition. However, they tied the lore to the rule changes, and the original game used 2nd edition. So the 3rd game, according to the lore, has to take place about 200 years later. So, and they still have characters from the first game in it. Plot hole right away.
Yeah. All right. So the changes go beyond clarifications, with further alterations coming in the form of new demands for third-party creators to meet. D&D Beyond offers some reassurance to creators of share-alike content. So I'm trying to think like... Okay. Another stipulation that creators of free Dungeons & Dragons homebrew resources won't have to worry about regards to revenue generated by third-party material. Creators earning more than $50,000 annually will have to report revenue to Wizards of the Coast. For the vast majority of people and companies producing OGL content, this rule will be more of a nuisance than a problem, but the creators generating over $750,000 in a year will have to pay a royalty in 2024. Basically, Wizards of the Coast is demanding a percentage of the profits, a share of the profits for work that they did not put into.
Yep.
and creators would still have to report the revenue to Wizards of the Coast. Again, why? It's not Wizards of the Coast. It's not Wizards of the Coast creation under the Open Game License, which is basically what OGL stands for.
Well,
Which
I can tell you one thing: if
Mhm.
the stuff that they want money for are basically D&D modules, and a module is basically, in this case, it's a D&D adventure or a campaign. It's a story where
Yeah.
the players play through. In order to make that, you have to create all the characters the players can possibly encounter, and not just name and race. You need
Mhm.
their strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, blah blah blah, their skill points, their hit points, whatever they're wearing, all that stuff you need to put in there. And you need tables for what kind of monsters the players can encounter in certain areas, and reference the monster manual where you can find the monsters. You need maps for everything. If there's a castle involved, you need a map for the castle, and where the guards are, all that stuff, where you can find the loot. And it's a lot of work that goes into that stuff.
Yeah.
You're basically writing, you're basically doing the background for a fantasy book, for a novel. And before you actually fill in the blanks and write the story, because you can't do that with D&D, because the players control the
Well, the
story,
players
right?
fill in all those blanks pretty
Yeah.
much because all
So
like really D&D will have the character the character's abilities and so forth, as well as settings. But how those settings are utilized, how those abilities are utilized, how the feats are utilized is all up to the players and the choices they make and the story that the campaign the DM creates.
yeah, basically I spoke to a D&D writer once, and he said the best DMs are the DMs you don't notice are there, kind of like a referee in a sports match,
Mm-hmm.
But the if you want to do DMing right, make sure the players are or feel like they're in the driver's seat, not the passenger seat. Because if you're a DM, it's not your story; it's the player's story, and
Mm-hmm.
it's each individual player's story. So they
Yeah.
need to be in the driver's seat.
And Steve can tell you, quests that he's created that he thought that would let's say for example, would not take long at all, ended up taking longer because of us players, pretty much, of the choices we made and we would make and so forth, which would kind of make it go longer. And then you'd have the campaigns or the quests, basically the side quests that you would come up with that you thought would take a long time, end up
Yeah,
taking no time at all.
yeah, because sometimes you guys come up with something clever that lets you circumvent a lot of the problems,
Mm-hmm.
and other times you're failing to spot something really obvious, like when two
So
players
it
tried to
happened.
climb a wall. It took 30 minutes of a damn game.
So, but anyway, super chat from Winky. Thank you so much. Looking beautiful as always. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hope you're doing well. And we tend to do weird stuff. Yes, Charlie. This is how not to run a business or gain and retain customers. Pretty much.
Yeah, this
So
is anti-customer.
yeah. So how it will affect D&D players. And again, this is from back in January. So like I said, it backfired royally on Wizards of the Coast. So according to the D&D Beyond's current presentation of OGL 1.1, the average player or DM is unlikely to feel most of the effects in an acute manner. You'd still feel the effects, but not in an acute manner. I love the wording there. Creators will still be producing a widespread amount of OGL homebrew to use in D&D campaigns, and nothing new should obstruct sharing most free content online. But for commercial content producers working under the OGL, the new system is likely to provide some level of inconvenience, although the degree of inconvenience will not be clear until OGL 1.1 is actually rolled out, pretty much. So, I'm trying to find out. So considering the backlash to OGL 1.1 has already generated, an official reveal of further stipulations could make D&D fans actively resistant to its alterations. Creators' perpetual license to content produced under the OGL has been a cornerstone of the 5e community, and the success of 1D&D will ride upon the community embracing its changes, and they did not. Players did not embrace the changes. So, like I said, this is back in January. So basically, from January on, Wizards of the Coast has been doing stupid shit. At least this year. At least this year. They've constantly been doing stupid shit, but at least this year, from January on, each month, something stupid.
I have to be honest though, because this is yes, it's really bad on the customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for fuck's sake, there's been warnings about this sort of shit for a decade, and people have made excuses for it. Wizards of the Coast have been shady as hell for a long, long time, and they've been adding more and more woke stuff. And when you add more woke stuff, you're limiting the game too, because you're putting risk. I'm not sure if you're going to talk about the race, the half elf stuff.
Well, we talked about that, but we can talk about it again. Basically, removing.
Yeah.
They don't like the term.
I wasn't sure if I should say something if you had planned.
No, you can say something. I mean, I can find the article real fast. We weren't exactly going to go into that again necessarily, but if you want to go in, because again, we're going into like everything that Wizards of the Coast has done, and one of the current examples is removing the term half, like half elf or half orc.
Yeah, half elf and half orc. They didn't want half breeds basically in the game because they felt it was racist.
Here,
so half elves and half orcs are being removed, and they're also retroactively removing them from all the digital products. So for the books you bought 5 years ago or whatever, right? And they're going to continue with this to remove racist elements and all that stuff retroactively.
Here, I'll just share this founding in the comics article. We won't really go into the article, but just for those who do not know what's going on, this is what they're doing.
Yeah, in effect, they're promoting racial purity.
Yeah, I'll scroll down. So they're removing that. So I'm gonna scroll onto the explanation, or what's going to what it's going to entail.
Yeah.
And
Wizards of the Coast aren't the only ones. Paizo, who does the Pathfinder game, which is better than D&D.
Yeah.
They removed from the lore retroactively all reference to slavery. If you remove something like that in a lore that covers thousands and thousands of years, it's going to be a mess.
Mm-hmm. Trying to find where it goes into. Inclusion, collaboration, bullshit. It says, frankly, we're not comfortable and haven't been for years with any of the options that start with half. The half construction is inherently racist, so we simply aren't going to include it in the new player's handbook. So they call it children of different humanoid species. It was a weird name that they came up with.
So it's like,
where is
what
it?
if you have a black father and a white mother?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You can have an elf mother and a human father, right?
Mm-hmm. I know I read in an article, I gotta find it, but one of the articles said that basically the players would choose which species they would align. Let's say they were a half, all right? Let's say, for example, half human and half elf, right? The players would choose which species they would most align with, or whatever the wording was. So basically, and of course you're going to go with the one with the better skill set. You're going to go with the one with the better skills and feats. So it's going to completely eliminate the other half of your character and
Yeah.
focus on only the one aspect of your character. So if you're gonna like say choose the elf feats because they're better than human, well then you're ignoring the human side of that character. So basically, in a sense, like you said, they're promoting racial purity. Because why create a half character when it's like you're not even taking into account both?
And what's the point? Because if you have to pick one of the two, like human or elf, why not play as a human or elf in general? Why pick a half elf that you have to convert to human or elf if you could just pick elf instead to begin with?
Yeah. And let's say for example, like your character is also half orc. Like, most likely would not happen, but let's say just like for shits and giggles, your character, you created a half elf, half orc character, right? Well,
You
again,
need to play a half orc sometime.
What?
You need to play a half orc sometime.
Well,
They're
maybe
fun.
we play D&D again, but basically, like you would choose the better side, the better skills, the better feats, and so forth. So you would likely choose elf in that instance.
Well,
and what
to be
what do
honest,
orcs now represent to these people?
To be fair, not everyone picks the best, the ones with the best abilities, because someone simply just wants to play an elf or whatever.
Yeah, I'm saying, but typically, like, you want to give yourself at least a leg up, at least, like, somewhat of an advantage. And if there's one side that gives you a disadvantage, you're not going to go with that.
No. You know what? They removed the disadvantages because they felt it was racist as well. They did that years ago.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So they removed disadvantages.
So there's no penalties now. You just get you get benefits and no penalties.
Yeah.
And that was
but
done
at the same time, it's like,
reasons.
what do orcs now represent to these people?
Well, they did say orcs were black people.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah. So basically, let's say, and you decide, I'm going to ignore that side of my character and focus on this side of my character, which might be considered like, the white side. Well, you're making the players racist now.
Yeah. It's pure insanity.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is so
basically, if you pick a half orc, you have to go with the orc side, otherwise you're racist.
Yeah, but if you don't, then you are. Even if your reasoning, like I said, is, hey, I just want to go with this because they're changing the rules now. I just want to go with the skill sets that gives me a better advantage. Not a perfect advantage, but a better advantage, because you want to make sure that, hey, you survive some encounters, right? Which you might not be able to, because the original rules were if you went a certain way, like, half species or something, that you had disadvantages.
Yeah. Well, not even half species. All the species except humans. But humans didn't have any benefits either.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like there were those rules that we were fine with because, again, they were different. So we would expect that there would be differences, and we expected them that they some would have advantages over the others, but again, there would be disadvantages to being certain species because you'd have to take into account physical features, stamina, endurance, things like that. Because this is also a combat system.
Here's a stupid thing they did. Halflings, they're basically hobbits, but they actually were called hobbits to begin with, but rights, you can't use hobbit because Tolkien owns it, so they renamed them halflings. Halflings are like 3 feet tall, right? And they had a strength penalty because they're 3 feet tall, right? They removed it, so a 3 foot tall halfling can now be just as strong as a 6'5" half orc.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
The reason was racism.
Like, a 3 feet of nothing essentially can look the same as like a 6'5".
Yeah,
but because, let's say barbarian class, because that's the class in Conan. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and woke nutcase players that should have been gate kept the fuck out of the hobby. Whined on forums like, I like to play a halfling, but I'm not as strong as everyone else. This is ruining the game for me. So they catered to that. Yeah, Mr. Bentham is right. You can't have dumb orcs because orcs had a penalty on intelligence, or half orcs did. So, and that was considered racist too. And
Yeah.
I guess dumb players felt like they were being represented poorly.
I'm saying this is fantasy, but people, again, that concept goes out the window because there are people that want to include real world politics and narratives in a fantasy realm.
Yeah.
Forgetting that key word there, fantasy.
Which means world building has gone out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trade Court is Wizards of the Coast is giving us a black Aragorn. Yeah. Well, Aragorn is an orc now. He has to be because black people are orcs.
Yeah. And I love people were trying to excuse it, like Aragorn was not specifically described in the books.
Yes, he was.
And I literally can turn right to the page where he is described. I mean, I can go. Where's my book? Here, right here. I can go to the page. I have it marked still. Yes, he wasn't. According to these idiots, he wasn't described. But it says right here, as Frodo drew near, he threw back his hood, showing a shaggy head of dark hair flecked with gray, and in a pale, stern face, a pair of keen gray eyes.
Yep.
But he wasn't described.
Yeah. Well, these people haven't read the book.
Yes.
They just gambled that it wasn't described.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this is what happens when it's trendy to be a nerd. Like, we were nerds when we were getting teased and beaten up in school when it wasn't cool. Now it is cool. Now it's trendy.
I wasn't beaten up in school though. I was a nerd that beat up people in school.
I believe it.
Well, I didn't beat up too many.
And Nagurdinal, hello? Yeah, but we were basically a time when it just wasn't the point is it wasn't trendy pretty much. And people actually made fun of the nerd culture.
The nerd culture died when the Big Bang Theory show happened because then everyone, oh, this is popular. I want to be that too.
Yeah. So, that hurt nerd culture more than helped.
Yeah, and Stranger Things a little bit too later on.
A little bit, but not nearly as much as Big Bang Theory.
No.
Not nearly as much. Yeah, nerds, yes. But yeah, so I just give you again, we're not exactly going to go entirely into some articles, but we are just giving a rundown so far of what Wizards of the Coast has done, and like I said, is entirely focused on shit. This would be a long ass stream if we covered everything that they've been doing, because this is, again, like I said, nothing new. This is really nothing new. But people are have the nerve to act surprised. But anyway, yeah. Especially San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, they kind of did. It pretty much did. And yeah. Yep. But anyway. So, I haven't read this art. I most likely read this article. This is from 2020. So we'll just go into this one from where they ended their relationship with the Magic the Gathering artist. A little bit.
Yeah.
You shared. So... I love all those fucking ads bounding.
Yeah, it makes the page skip up and down when they load and stuff.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is from 2020. Again, I'm pointing out, again, nothing new. There's the shit that they're doing now is nothing new. They've ended the relationship with Magic the Gathering artist Therese Nielsen.
Who did, I think she did some of the covers for the old Star Wars X-Wing comics.
Mm-hmm. And it's because of backlash towards the veteran Magic the Gathering artist conservative political views.
Yeah, she followed Trump on Twitter. She didn't say anything. She followed him. That's it. Here's the thing, though. This lady was fired simply because she followed Trump, right?
Yeah.
That's worse than what happened to Gina Carano. Because Gina Carano actually said something. I didn't think she said much wrong, but this lady didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, stand with Gina Carano, but let's support 5th edition D&D who did this.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, yeah, I'm saying, it's like she most likely agreed with what Trump was saying, but she never let it at all impact her work.
No,
She
she
just followed
couldn't. She does artwork.
Yes, I'm saying, all she did was follow him. That's it. And there's plenty of times where you follow someone you agree with, but then, Gray pointing out, you also follow people you don't agree with because you're kind of seeing what they say.
Yeah, or you want to see the shit show.
Yeah, I'm saying the fact that again did nothing, and then you have people pick a number of celebrities that have done worse, far worse, but their politics align with the correct side, namely the left, and they're fine. Like, say, for example, Pedro Pascal, since you brought up Gina Carano, literally equated Trump voters, all right, with Nazis.
Yeah.
He's still working.
Oh, yeah, he's getting a lot of work, probably because of that.
Yeah. And Trey says, again, Pedro Pascal, Gravy says Ezra Miller, Alec Baldwin literally got away with negligent manslaughter at the very least. Because gun safety number one. I don't care if you think the gun is unloaded, you do not point it at anyone.
Yeah, always treat the gun as loaded, even if you know it's not.
Yes. So it doesn't matter if he assumed that the gun was filled with blanks. Again, I'm not taking fault entirely away from the prop master because they're in charge of making sure that doesn't happen. But at the same time, is you don't point a gun at someone.
No, the gun is supposed to be pointed down.
Yes.
All the time, even when empty.
No charges against him, pretty much.
Was that the first stuff you guys learned in the military?
No, even before the military. Basically, I was brought up with just to give you guys perspective, I was brought up with don't point a gun at anyone unless you intend to use it on said whatever. Pretty much, if you're going to point in self-defense or whatever, don't point it at someone unless you intend to use that gun on that person.
Yeah, but basically, what we had to do was take out the magazine, even if it's empty, and triple empty the chamber, just in case, right? And still, even after all that, keep it pointed to the ground.
And with your finger off the trigger. If I had one of our guns up here, I'd kind of show, but basically, say I'm holding a gun, you put your finger up here, and not on the trigger. So you hold it like this. So your finger's ready to go to the trigger.
But above the trigger, alongside the...
Yeah, alongside it, but so your finger's not on a trigger, but can quickly go to the trigger if necessary.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same thing we did.
For, literally gun safety 101.
Yeah.
But yeah. But, again, he's brought up, no charges against him, even though he should, at the very least, have been charged with something because it was negligence on his part. Anyway.
Do you know what I heard, though? They're going to start shooting the movie again, and it's because Alec Baldwin has 5 bullets left.
Yep. So, but anyway, again, we're not really going to go into these articles. We're just going to be talking about them, but all she did, we haven't commissioned new art from Therese Nelson in quite a while. Okay. Okay, Byers' statement, and this is the first time that Wizards of the Coast has addressed the relationship with Nielsen since the artist was accused in 2019 of being alt-right, fascist, and a bigot by a segment of players after it was discovered that she and her wife, so they went after a lesbian, liked tweets critical of Antifa, supported President Donald Trump, and followed political commentators ranging from conservatives such as Mike Cernovich and Jack Posobiec to Alex Jones and Stefan Molyneux.
Check the buzzwords though: alt-right, fascist, and bigot. I mean,
yes. She's a lesbian.
Yeah, but they don't count now. A trans.
Yeah, I'm saying like it's like I'm saying, but it goes to the hypocrisy pretty much. Like they're all like all about Pride Month and LGBTQ rights and shit like that, but only if you support the correct side. If you at all don't align with our political views, namely the far left, then you're alt-right, fascist, and bigots. Even though maybe I don't know this Therese Nielsen, I'm just speculating that maybe she could have just been center right.
Yeah,
most Americans are actually most Americans are actually more center right than way right, pretty much.
Yeah,
most.
I
You actually look at
have
that's where we follow. That's where we fall.
I have a lesbian friend, and the lesbians are hating this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
what's being done to the L, G, and the B rather, because the T and the Q make them look like nutcases. On the upside, though, she's a lesbian, and she sends me pictures of scantily clad women, and goes, "What do you think of her?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah. Yeah, like very center. Most most are center right. There are those who are center left. Most are in the center.
Yeah, I definitely. I swing from center left to center right, depending on the topic. I think.
Well, it's it's like I consider myself. Well, I do have a political registration, but that's only so I can vote in the primaries. The way the laws in my state work is you have to be either one or two of the major political parties to be able to vote in primaries. So I am on my voter registration card affiliated with one side, but I am more of a libertarian who leans conservative. But I also have socially liberal views, like actually liberal views, not leftist, but liberal views.
I think personally, if I am to condense my political stuff, it's just leave people alone.
Well, that's pretty much libertarian. Just stay out of my personal shit.
Yeah, just if someone's if your neighbor's gay, let them be.
Yeah,
as long as they don't fuck around with you.
That's how I am pretty much. That's why I gravitate more towards libertarians now, because we're more like run the country but stay the fuck out of my home.
Yeah, just
don't tell me what to eat. Don't tell me how to raise my children. No, that's not your job. That's my job. Your job is to run the country, and you're running it into the ground. So there it is. But I'm saying if I were to describe my politics, that's where I am. But really, I'm at a point where it's like politics is shit on both sides.
Yeah, same here. I'm like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's gotten to a point we're segueing away from Wizards of the Coast, but it's gotten to a point where it's you don't vote for a politician, you vote against the other one. So you're not exactly voting for the best choice, just the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, it's there's a saying here, because we have a lot of parties, and it's basically vote for the one who lies best.
Yeah, kind of either or. Yeah, yeah. But there it is. I mean, that's the thing, But again, it's again I don't care. I don't know this woman personally. I'm not gonna tell her whom to follow, what to agree with or anything like that. Even if I didn't, I'm not exactly fans of some of the people that she follows.
Yeah.
Right. The so-called the conservatives, and even though I consider myself kind of conservative, I don't agree with everything they say. But I'm not going to tell her, hey, don't follow these people because I don't like them.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Let's say this lady actually is a fascist bitch in her daily life. It has never affected her work because she is a terrific artist
Mm-hmm.
and she's doing her job. She's not bothering
No.
anyone.
No, it's like I say, I don't care what people's
Yeah.
politics are as long as it doesn't affect the work.
Yeah.
Like, again, keep it, especially in the entertainment industry. I understand the entertainment industry, most are going to lean left. I get that. As long as it doesn't seep into whatever the product is, I'm fine. I don't fucking care. I just want a good product. I want a good video game. I want a good movie. I want a good book. I don't want to be lectured to or anything like that. When I'm playing a video game, all right, I just want to have fun. That's all I want. Good story, good fun. That's it. That's it. Like I'm playing the Halo 2 campaign right now. All right. Halo 2 is pretty much like the best, in my opinion, in the Halo series of video games. And it's because it's a good story. And that's just it. The story does not lecture the players or anything like that, does not insert any type of real world politics into it. It's just the story set in basically that universe. There is that. Could care less what a person follows, don't start shit. Yeah. Basically, that's my philosophy too. Don't start none, won't be none. Pretty much.
I'm gonna put a link to a picture in the private chat so you can share, so people can see what kind of an artist she is.
Yeah, so I'm saying basically this is from again 2020, but again it goes to the nothing new. This is nothing new. What Wizards is doing. I don't care. I melee the shit out of those little fuckers every chance I get. They annoy the hell out of me. All right, I'll just share this. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, this is from I think it's a comic or whatever. The artist also did a few of the new Jedi Order covers, and if you look at this is high class, right? This is a skilled artist. I don't see any alt-right stuff in this. I mean,
No.
Leia's not wearing a swastika, is she?
No, she's wearing Jedi robes.
Yeah.
She has a lightsaber. Looks like she sliced a droid into parts.
Yeah, and here's the thing: for those of us who were following Star Wars back then, seeing artwork like this was normal. This was a standard. So compare that to the shit Disney's doing now, right?
Yeah, I mean, they literally make Mace Windu look ape-like.
Yeah.
But we're the racist ones.
Yeah.
$10 super chat from Mr. Bentham. Thank you so much. This is Gotta Catch the Replay. Thanks for the stream, Mara. Thank you for being here. Hope you'll enjoy the replay. We'll be going into some more stuff to include the Pinkerton raid. And apparently this is not the first time the Pinkerton agency was used by Wizards of the Coast.
Nope.
So, hey Sam, good to see you. Been a long time. Hope you're doing well. So, man, this is the mentality of Wizards of the Coast, pretty much. So again, people are like acting surprised now, and I'm like, where have you been?
Yeah, I've been calling this out for years, and the thing is, if I call out something like this, I can always back it up. I don't do it willy nilly. People think I do it willy nilly, but here you go, proof.
Yeah,
it's I wouldn't call them a shit company if they hadn't done anything shit.
Yeah, the Pinkertons still do exist, but they've since more turned into like thugs.
Yeah, and security people.
Yeah, they were originally formed as a detective agency, but
yeah,
not really anymore. So
they were kind of ground zero for the FBI.
Yeah,
and then I mean, just play Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2.
Hey Corey, good to see you. Yeah, which when I was looking up Pinkerton images, and I like ultimately just ended up on like the logo, the symbol that they use. What came up was Red Dead Redemption. So it's like, okay. But yeah, that's the example for art. So I'm gonna close some of these tabs because I do have a lot of tabs open. Which one is this? Okay, I'm gonna close the artist one, the image.
You know what you need to do when you do that? When you're closing tabs, just go. Yeah, dick pic, midget porn, dick pic. There it is.
What is it with you and midgets? I swear, chat. I swear. Okay, give you like another perspective again, because Teresa, Alora, and I have been playing Conan D&D. Stig is the DM, and whenever one of us cannot play, like say for example, I was the one who could not play on the 16th because of the I was doing the birthday get together. All right, it was for me and I was hanging out with my family, and every time one of us is unavailable, he makes it so that our character is at some sort of brothel or something with midgets.
Yeah, they're with the midgets.
He,
Being fucked.
what is your fixation with midgets?
I'll you know what? I'm going to reveal it.
Oh my god!
Everyone in the chat, did you see
Team's
Maura's reaction to the midgets? That's why I do it.
No, I think it's Jigawat. You have a kink.
No, I like the tall ones. I'm from Norway. But yeah,
I'm actually only 5'2", so.
Well, I like you anyway.
There you go. But
you
it's like
you can stand on my chair and give me a hug.
Just to give you guys perspective on what we deal with him as a DM. Like we'll come back to the next week to continue in the campaign, and we find out that our characters have been with midgets.
Yeah. You know what? We could put you on a spinning chair, right? And we can have a dance.
Oh my god. We're the same height, yes. My sister is actually 4'11". So my sister's shorter than me. So she technically is a midget.
It would be fun though if at the end of the game, all of you.
I know. He said I was with the swing the last time, but he said midgets were there. So he still
she and Boy Toy brought a sex swing to the midget club.
He still had us with the midgets.
No, it was Naya did it. You went to the midgets. I wasn't there.
Oh, shut up!
I don't know what you did with that swing. Could they even reach the swing? I don't know. We have to find that out.
Yes, Trey. That type of swing.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the you know
what's going to happen in the final scene of the Conan game? All three of you are going to realize you're pregnant, and it's the midgets that did it.
Hey, Michael. All right, your choice, Stig. We have the Pinkerton raid. I have a couple articles on that. And then we have the Reddit link you sent me about let's talk about MTG's director of game design, Mike Murals, or the Polygon article where they D&D publisher scrubbed contributor from handbook amid abuse allegations.
Yeah, I think those are linked. The Polygon is first,
okay,
and then the Reddit. But I don't know. What do you think? Should I roll a dice?
Yeah, roll a dice. So basically, we have 2 more stories left with the articles for each one that we're not gonna entirely. Well, at least we're not gonna exactly go into the articles, but we'll talk about what's going on. So
okay, I'm not gonna let you pick any numbers because it always goes to hell. So
he basically gave me only 5 numbers. 6 numbers last time when he rolled when we did the top 10, and it still rolled in my favor.
Yeah. Okay, so 1 to 10 is the Reddit thing, whatever it was, and the other one is the Pinkertons.
All right.
14 Pinkertons.
So, Pinkertons. All right. So we'll go into the initial story that broke, and then we'll kind of go into a little bit of like, it's like this is not.
I'd
first
like
time
to
they've
point
ever
out the high budget and production value of this show. We're talking about D&D, and we literally have dice for immersion.
Mhm.
And I'm currently in a sex swing as well from D&D during the whole stream.
Okay. I said I would get a ball gag for immersion in the next one.
Yeah, Mara actually stabbed herself the other day because
Oh,
her
shit.
character
No, I
was stabbed in the ribs. So we just heard a scream, and then I'm bleeding, and like she stabbed herself for immersion.
Nope. Thank you for the $2 super chats, Winky again. I think I know what you're spelling between the thens, but then get as admitted. Yeah. Thank
Mara
you.
also half drowned herself in a fishbowl because her character was underwater at one point. You could hear the gurgling and the rolling of the dice.
Well, it's become tradition. It's become tradition now, according to you, that my character always starts out somehow in a ball gag.
Yep.
So I figured I'll have to get one for the Call of Cthulhu, so for immersion.
That's because she gives me lip, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're gonna start with a ball gag."
Worth it.
And she thought I bluffed. No, I wasn't.
No, I didn't think you were bluffing. It was just so worth it.
Yep.
Anyway. Yeah, method acting. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, all right. So this guy, purely by accident, like the accident, because of the names for the cards, received cards that actually weren't officially released yet. All right, and he made a few videos, dropped a few videos. I'm not sure what he talked about in the videos, but all right. Granted that again these cards weren't released, so they it's kind of how do I put it, a spoiler topic to talk about. But at the same time, that does not at all warrant a raid by the Pinkertons, which is what they did. They basically sent Wizards of the Coast used the Pinkerton agency to raid this man's house.
Yeah, in front of his kids.
Yeah, made his wife cry. All right, and that that story broke. Right. So again, or they just have him sign an NDA. At the very most, he should have been contacted by one of the Wizards of the Coast lawyers with an NDA, and asked not only have him sign the NDA, but have him make those videos, like have him unlist those videos and say that you can make them public again when these cards are officially released. Like if you don't want any more news to leak about these cards or anything, and I'm sure this guy would have done it. I'm sure he would have done it, pretty much. Okay, it's actually around the time that these cards were going to be released, pretty much. So it really wasn't that far away from when these cards were going to be dropped. But all they had to ask him to do was sign an NDA and unlist those videos, and then make them public again once it's official.
Yeah, and you know what? This could have, worst case scenario, this could have gone really, south, because this is it's not swatting, but it's in the same alley in a way. So if this guy was paranoid or something and had a weapon and pulled it, and they had weapons as well, it could have ended really badly. This is worst case scenario though, but I mean, come on, you're sending thugs to a customer who got the wrong product, which was their fault.
Yeah, so here it is. Again, we're not going to go into the entirety of the article, but it says in April 2023, so just this month, past month. We're just now into May, so past month. Wizards made a completely random move by hiring Pinkertons to deal with an external issue. What prompted this move? On April 24th, so not even that long ago, right? Not even that long ago. Outlets like Kotaku reported that the game publisher hired Pinkerton agents against someone who was publicly engaging in perceived illicit activity involving unreleased Magic the Gathering cards. Okay, so basically this was YouTuber called Old School MTG. His name is Dan Cannon. Had accidentally, all right, so he didn't go out of his way to get these cards by nefarious means. He was accidentally received them because he ordered March of the Machine cards, but there was like a new deck being released, new booster packs called the Aftermath, and that was a confusion. Just in the name.
Yeah, and you fucked up when Kotaku's not even shilling for you, right?
Yeah.
But another thing is, that Critical Role.
I think of years ago I watched.
Yeah.
Well, I watched a little bit of them. But
they're still refusing to comment on it because they're paid shills galore.
Yeah, I stopped pretty much. So yeah. So yeah, I noticed they weren't talking about it, but Kotaku of all places reported on this, and they actually did a decent article, actually objectively.
Yeah. Credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Oh, it's slated to release on my birthday.
Hey, Vanya. Thank you. Hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, so I'm saying it's not even that far. It wasn't even that far away. Basically from when the incident occurred to when this is going to be released. It's less than a month. Less than a month. So all they had to do, like I said, was contact this man via an attorney, ask him to sign an NDA, which I'm sure he would have agreed to, and ask him to unlist those videos. All right? Ask him to unlist the videos and say you can make them public again once that official release date comes and goes. I really would have agreed to it.
Well, he wouldn't even have to, because I bet it doesn't say anything in the...
I haven't watched the videos, but even if they were worried that he maybe revealed a bit too much, that's all they would have had to ask him to do. Yeah, but this is also a guy that has less than 4,000 subscribers on his channel. He really did not put that many videos up, according to what I've read.
Another thing that they just could have done is call him and say, "Hey, we sent you, the wrong product.
They claim in this article they claim that they called him, but the number came up unknown. So what most people do when they see unknown caller is they don't pick it up. But what Wizards of the Coast did not fail to do was actually leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
That's all if they did not reach him initially, leave a voicemail. That's what I say. If this person is a legitimate person trying to call me and I don't recognize that number, that person will leave a voicemail. If they don't leave a voicemail, I'm not calling that number back if I don't recognize it.
Is it weird that I don't know how to leave a voicemail?
No, it's not weird because you're a boomer. And Ballgag 321, yes. But anyway, so basically, okay, so he accidentally received a set of cards from March of the Machine, the Aftermath, and it's not slated to be released until May 12th. All right, so not that long, less than a month, and this is reported on April 24th. All right, okay. So
I'm fucking gonna email you a voice recording just for fucking spite. I'm gonna do it.
Anyway, moving on. Speaking with Kotaku, Dan theorized that there was a mix-up with the delivery. What I believed happened is that the names are too similar, March of the Machine and March of the Machine, the Aftermath, and somebody screwed up and sent the wrong cases. All right? So though Dan didn't actively order these unreleased cards, that didn't stop Wizards' disproportionate response. Pinkerton agents arrived at the door and ordered him to return the cards under threat of jail time and a hefty fine. Dan later reached out to Wizards with a representative of the company apologizing profusely for the actions taken by the Pinkertons. All right, so what happened? Okay, so I'm not going to go into the history of the Pinkertons. So basically, they threatened this guy.
Yeah, they sent thugs and they're apologizing after the fact because they got busted.
All right, so this is an article I found. It's a Yahoo one. All right, which goes into what the Pinkertons recently did, what the Wizards of the Coast recently did, and then again, this is not the first time. This is not the first time this has happened. At least that Wizards has used the Pinkerton agency.
Yeah.
All right, so this goes into more detail of what happened, according to. Okay. Okay. So this is about Dan Cannon. Like they sent Pinkerton agents to his home. Okay, so it says while Magic the Expansion was supposed to be revealed at the beginning of May, Cannon somehow acquired a selection and showed them on his YouTube channel, resulting in the reveal of around 75% of the limited release sets. Again, if they were worried about major spoilers, all they had to do was ask him, just like I said, please unlist these videos. You can make them public. Sign an NDA. Boom. Move on. There. End of story. That's all they had to fucking do. Right? Even through an email or call, basically talk to him. I'm sure he would have done it. Because again, this is a guy that has less than 4,000 subs on this channel. Right? Within a week, Cannon says Pinkerton agents knocked on his door and demanded he turn over all the cards from the unreleased set. All right, so he released videos over 3 days, and the agents arrived on Saturday morning. So, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that Saturday, boom, they showed up at his house. All right, the company sent an investigator, quote, as part of an investigation into unauthorized distribution and disclosure of embargoed products. He got them by accident, and it's Wizards of the Coast's fault. All right, not this guy's fault. It was Wizards' fault, but they're as part of an investigation into unauthorized distribution and disclosure of an embargoed product. Well, then they need to investigate themselves, pretty much.
You know what? I don't think they're really wizards. Gandalf wouldn't screw up like this.
No. Hey, Troubled Cat.
I think they're lying about being wizards. I don't even think they're on the coast.
Here it is. According to Cannon, he in an email exchange with IO9, right? He confirmed the statements he made on the video and added additional context, stating that as soon as my wife answered the door, they aggressively asked her for me by my full name, announced themselves as the Pinkerton Agency, which I'm very familiar with their reputation, and said they were there to recover, quote, stolen goods that he accidentally got, pretty much. After his wife asked them to wait outside, Cannon says they forced themselves at least partially through the door and prevented her from closing the door all the way. When Cannon eventually got to the door, he says he assertively moved everyone outside and told the agents that they needed to treat the Cannons with more respect. They did eventually dial it back and become more civil after that, he says. At some point, Cannon alleges the treatment by the agents made his wife cry. And you have Wizards of the Coast strongly disputing the depiction of the events, which contradicts both the reports from the investigation as well as the conversation between the individual and the Wizards of the Coast representative after the interaction in question. So basically, even this article on Yahoo Entertainment is saying, yeah, what Wizards of the Coast is saying does not jive with this. All right, so what they're saying does not jive with both the report from the investigation as well as the conversation had between the representative and after the interaction in question. So according to Cannon, the agents continued to claim that he was in possession of stolen property and said that if Cannon didn't hand over the product immediately, again, these are cards that he accidentally got. He did not go out of his way for any illicit purposes for cards that were going to be released in matter of 3 weeks. Not even 3 weeks. All right. He accidentally got them, but they were treating him as if he stole them. They would escalate the situation to the local law enforcement. They claimed copyright infringement and said I would face between 1 and 10 years in jail. They also allegedly threatened this incident could result in up to $200,000 in fines plus all legal fees. All right. Okay, this, Cannon says, was his first interaction with the Pinkerton agents and that they told him they tried to confront him at his house on Friday, but nobody was home. Cannon said in a video uploaded April 25th that the Pinkerton agents, after attempting to go to Cannon's house, began door knocking at the homes of his neighbors, asking for information about him and saying that they had an appointment with Cannon. According to Cannon, the Pinkerton agents said that they didn't want to call me before showing up because they didn't want me to have time to react and get rid of the cards. All right. The only way, and I'm not defending what their actions, both Wizards and the Pinkerton agents, but the only way I could see remotely copyright infringement were the YouTube videos. And even then, fucking then, all they had to do was ask him to basically unlist them. They had to ask him to do was unlist them, right? Sign an NDA, and then once May 12th hit, make them public again. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh yeah, they're pretty much thugs now. They're pretty much hired thugs. It's still too cold, Winky, and even then, probably not. At least not on YouTube. But thank you for the super chat.
At least not on YouTube. Then where?
Kick's terms of service is pretty much a bit less restrictive than YouTube's. Okay, so additionally, Cannon says he had no interaction with the Wizards of the Coast before the incident on Saturday morning. Cannon was given a number to call, and he did so while the Pinkertons were in his home. When he reached a Wizards of the Coast employee, they said that they attempted to call him on Friday, but because it was via an unlisted number, right, an unknown number, Cannon did not pick up, which is what most people do. They don't pick up unknown numbers because they expect someone to leave a voicemail, some type of message, and that would have told Cannon that this was a legitimate call, and he would have called that number back. I don't know this guy personally, but everything I'm seeing tells me that this guy would have done so. Hey, Abominations, you're saying there's a chance. But I wouldn't pick up either. That's my prerogative. If I don't recognize a number, I don't pick up. I don't pick up the phone.
I had to stop too because a surprising amount of Nigerians have access to diamonds, and I can get them if I send them money. But I got tired of them.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, I know. But that's how. But again, that's how people generally are. If they don't recognize a number, they don't pick up. And what I say is, if they're meaning to legitimately call me, they'll leave a voicemail. If it's a legitimate number, they'll leave a voicemail. If they don't leave a voicemail, if it's on my cell phone, I just delete it. I just delete that missed call notification. I'm not bothering with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you I'm gonna figure out a voicemail. I'm gonna leave you a voicemail, and you're gonna get it when you wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
It's gonna be full of useless shit.
Oh, I could say something mean right there, but I'm not going to. Anyway.
What?
Anyway, Cannon says the Wizards of the Coast employee did not leave a voicemail or send an email, but when they finally talked on the phone, they asked which Magic the Gathering cards he would like. I would say, how about I would like you to call off your thugs. According to Wizards of the Coast, the company initiated several phone calls to the individual in order to make contact, though we understand why he would be reluctant to answer an unknown number. Then leave a voicemail. Send an email. This right here is just so asinine. It is so customary of Wizards of the Coast right now, and so disproportionate in their response to this whole situation. All they had to do was send an email. That's all they had to do. If these assholes could find his number, then I'm sure as hell they could find contact information for him. Yeah, I said all of them, or I sue your ass. There you go. I'm saying, there you go. This was actually, I think, in outside the country. This was in London. This is like a London branch of the Pinkertons. So that's what these assholes did.
Yep.
All right. So, and Cannon told IO9 that he believes he received those cards because of a distribution error because of the name. He ordered March of the Machines, and he got the Aftermath ones because, again, that's just the slight difference in the names, but it was an accident. And he says the YouTubers frequently open early boxes and are allowed to show off cards early. He was unaware of the embargo. So he was unaware of the embargo. They weren't clear on that. He was unaware of it. And typically with the YouTubers, as he points out here, They reveal stuff. They open the box and they reveal it to their subscribers. He claims he purchased these cards for about 4,000 under the impression that they were from the already released set March of the Machines. There would have been no restrictions or rules given to him at any point. So again, purely a mistake on Wizards of the Coast end.
Interesting that this was their default.
Yeah.
response.
And he says a
though.
simple email or phone call from Wizards of the Coast and I would have cooperated. There was absolutely no need to send such a notorious agency to my house to frighten my wife and threaten us. Yeah. And like I said, he's a hobbyist, not even a full-time or even part-time content creator, and he has less than 4,000 followers on his YouTube channel. So he's like not even like a big YouTuber, necessarily.
He's got more than I do. But then again, I don't have any content anymore, so...
Yeah. Alright. So this alleged incident with Cannon isn't the first time the Pinkertons have been dispatched to retrieve Magic the Gathering cards. Sources who were unwilling to share their names for fear of retribution by Wizards of the Coast told IO9 that back in 2017, Pinkerton employees were sent out to investigate the theft of an uncut sheet of foil cards from the then upcoming major expansion Ixalan. Alright, the Ixalan foil sheet has become something of a legend in modern Magic spaces, blah, blah, blah. Alright, so the company was transparent about the illegal nature of the theft, and Scott Kelly, who was in 2017 the vice president, creative and production studios, stated in the post that in order to retrieve the stolen property, Wizards of the Coast worked with a number of groups, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Another source told IO9 that after the sheet was stolen, someone attempted to sell it at the game store where they were working. The store immediately recognized it as stolen property and called Wizards of the Coast to report it. Right? So, really no need to send thugs, right? Just arrest the individual in question. That's all they had to do, right? All they really had to do. But no, later the source alleges that a Pinkerton detective came to the store and began conducting interviews with the staff. During these interviews, the agent said the Wizards of the Coast had a lot of these sorts of problems, and the Pinkertons have been used multiple times to help solve them. Alright? So not the first time they were used. Not exactly as thugs, but really did not need them at all in that case. You have the name, pretty much. They knew the person who attempted to sell it. The store recognized it, called the Wizards. All they had to do was arrest the individual. Maybe follow-up questions with the staff, but really did not need to call the Pinkertons.
I have a question, though. How much authority does the Pinkertons actually have? Because you can't just have, create an agency and just assume that it gives you, the legal rights to enter people's homes and shit.
Well, Abomination's saying none. They knew the cops wouldn't do anything dangerous for a possible theft, so they sent thugs who would. Yeah. So none. They are a civilian private third company. They hold no legal grounds.
So, if that guy just said, no, I'm not giving up the cards.
They would have no legal authority over him. In that case, he would be within his rights to refuse to give up the property. I'm not, if they were actual stolen property, then yeah, go through the legal means, actual legal means of real law enforcement and so forth. But he would have been within his rights to tell them, get the fuck off my property. They have no authority.
Kind of a fascist behavior from the anti-fascists.
Pretty much. Pretty fucking much. So, Cannon, like I said, would have been within his rights to tell them to fuck off.
Magic the Pinkerton Gathering.
Mm-hmm. Even if they were stolen, you'd have to prove, it's burden of proof is on Wizards to prove that Dan stole the cards. It's not on him. The burden of proof is not on Dan to prove that he did not steal the cards. Although
he stole the cards we mailed to him. Yes,
I'm saying it's like it's all bad. It's all fucking bad. Because again, this is entirely on Wizards of the Coast. Entirely on Wizards of the Coast. But it's their fuck up, and then they do this shit, which makes it even worse.
Yep. And then people
That's what
keep
happened.
supporting them, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So let me one more topic to talk about. Yeah, they literally sold him the cards. Like, he bought them, but they sent him the wrong ones. So it's like he's not at fault in any way in this scenario. In any way. Yeah, all you would have to do is show the authorities the shipping info, and then Wizards of the Coast wouldn't have a leg to stand on, because it would reflect poorly on them that, like, they were the ones who actually messed up, not him. And like I said, I'm not defending the company at all. I'm not defending the company by any means. But the only way I could see any copyright infringement were the YouTube videos. And even then, all they had to do was email him or something and ask him to unlist them until May 12th and then republish them, essentially. That's all they had to do. All they fucking had to do. Have him sign an NDA. So, like, from here until May 12th, he is not allowed to talk about this because they don't want anything to get out. There's an embargo that he was unaware of. Would have been resolved in like 2 hours at the very most. So there wouldn't be any story or anything. No one would have known about their fuck up. But they did this, and the story breaks, and it's out there for the world to see. Pretty fucking much. Hey, Greg, doesn't deserve their patronage. I stopped. I don't play anything D&D related past the 3.5 edition.
Basically, she plays what I tell her to.
I would have done it as an extra measure just to be saved. It's purely for a legalese standpoint, just to kind of cover their butts. Even I agree with you. It really doesn't matter because it's only a couple weeks away. It would have been kind of like, it would have been a way to protect Wizard, like the company. All right, so if he did say anything, then they would have something on him, pretty much. Like, and they could take legal recourse against him. But I'm saying I don't think they would have had to do it because he doesn't seem like the guy who would do something like that. It would just be more like an extra precaution. 3.5 and Pathfinder First Edition are almost the same. I need to look into Pathfinder. I've never played it. I have
it. I have the rule book.
I've just been mainly D&D.
It is pretty much D&D with some quirks, and it's a different game world, which is basically a ripoff of all the others. Mm-hmm. But Pathfinder is basically what 4th edition should have been. You know, because the people who made it were people who quit Wizards of the Coast for creative differences when they were making the 4th edition. So they created Pathfinder as their own 4th edition. And
for the 4th edition on. I love when people are act surprised at this, and I'm like, where were you from the 4th edition on?
Yeah. The 4th edition was dumb as shit.
And then they further dumbed it down in the 5th edition. But anyway. Alright, so the last thing we're going to cover. We're going to cover the Polygon article first. Now, you sent this to me. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but we're going to go through it a little bit anyway.
It's pretty bad.
So, this is... Hold on. This is from back in 2019. Alright, so again... just showing you guys that this is nothing new coming from Wizards of the Coast. And thank you, Mando. I see you're sending me the link. So D&D publisher scrubs contributor from handbook amid abuse allegations. So Wizards of the Coast worked with the controversial creator for D&D's 5th edition. All right.
Oh, I have a dirty joke.
I'm shocked.
If Mando in the chat has an orgasm, it'll be a commando. Sorry. Carry on.
Moving on. Wizards of the Coast announced on Tuesday that it is removing all references to a consultant named Zach Smith. Oh, I'll try.
Come on, that didn't hurt, Trey. I was kind of happy with it, to be honest.
Named Zach Smith from the current D&D Player's Handbook after multiple women publicly accused Smith of abuse earlier this month. In a statement published on its website, the D&D team said that Smith's credit removal will apply to both the physical and digital versions of the book. Zach Smith, along with many others, was engaged by Wizards to provide feedback on D&D Next, the playtest which evolved into D&D 5th edition. We have not contracted with him since and regret our choice to do so in 2014. Because of that, we were removing Zach's credit from future physical printings and digital versions of the Player's Handbook. Smith, also known as Zach S. and Zach Sabbath, is an artist and tabletop game designer with a background in the adult film industry. His name appears on the opening few pages of the Player's Handbook, where it is listed under the heading Additional Consultation Provided by alongside 7 other contributors. Now, I don't care if he was in the adult entertainment industry. So what did he do? All right. Some accusations of physical, mental, and sexual abuse against him come from participants in that video series. And the video series is I Hit It With My Axe, a video series from the Escapist circa 2010, in which he plays an early version of D&D with other porn stars. So on his personal website, Smith denies the accusations in detail. That has not stopped many in the tabletop gaming industry from coming out against him. So, among the first to speak up after allegations against Smith went public was Kenneth Hite, a high-profile tabletop game designer and past collaborator with Smith. Hite is also listed as a consultant in the Player's Handbook. On February 11th, he went on Facebook where he apologized unreservedly to victims of Zach's abuse for any pain or harm I have caused them through my action or inaction. He took responsibility, okay. So, okay, let's look at this update.
Yeah, it gets worse.
This is like a he said, she said scenario.
Yeah, it gets worse in that Reddit thing.
Okay.
They shine a bigger light on it.
Okay, so basically his next RPG, titled Demon City, the Ultimate Horror RPG, raised nearly $75,000 on Kickstarter. Alright? So that's a scenario. Very much a he said, she said scenario, at least in this article. Let me just... Is this zoomed in? No, it wasn't. You guys can see what I'm looking at. But I'm going to stop sharing this and go into the Reddit one. Let's talk about MTG's director of game design, Mike Murrells. Okay, at least according to his LinkedIn, this Mike, the current director of game design at Magic fuck off, thank you. Magic the Gathering. Let's talk about his previous work with Wizards of the Coast. Previous to working on MTG, he was the head designer of D&D 5th edition. I'm not getting into edition wars, let's just focus on the facts, okay? During this time, he hired a number of consultants from various tabletop RPG game design philosophies. Not a bad attempt to get some outside feedback, but we're going to focus on the two from the OSR community who go by RPG Pundit and Zach S. Okay, this is Zach S, basically. RPG Pundit is a neo-Nazi, or at least spreads neo-Nazi views. Among other things, he's incredibly outspoken about neo-Nazi theories of homosexual behavior. This was well known before 5th edition was even announced to the public, let alone these consultants were brought in. You can also just get a sampling of his work by searching his name because the man cannot stop posting. I'm going to open this and get another tab. Let's see if anything comes up. Zach S. is more complicated. He actually had some mainstream nerd success by having a video series on The Escapist at the same time WotC's Zero Punctuation was running. D&D with porn stars featured him DMing a game with a few adult actresses.
Oh, shit, I can do that?
Okay, edit. I've been informed this is not true. A number involved have, but many other women have accused him. His long-term partner, Mandy Morbid, wrote a long blog post about their time together, and I suggest not reading it for your sanity. Additionally, he's been known for a long time as an incredibly toxic poster, name-searching and coordinating harassment campaigns across multiple websites. Also, he sues basically everyone. We're getting into that later, but this will quickly become relevant. Also, he may or may not be a neo-Nazi, but he definitely is on their side with many arguments in the tabletop RPG space. All right. This is interesting. Which would be okay. Maybe Mike Merrills didn't know about this. The list was generated from an intern or something. The issue is people complained about these two, and especially Zach S. Mike Merrill said, okay, forward these complaints to me and I'll handle them. All right. He then forwarded the accusations to Zach Smith, complete with identifying information. Many of these women are still being sued by Zach S. for defamation in Canada, where the laws are much more permissive for these kind of lawsuits than the United States. Eventually, those two did get their names removed from future printings of D&D books, but many see this as too little too late. All right.
He basically doxed the abusers, the accusers to the abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that, and like when I read that, I was like, for the accusations and identifying information.
Yeah. Basically doxed the shit out of it and put them probably in harm's way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and now he's working for D&D 5th edition. After this happened, he's working for D&D 5th edition.
Yeah.
But the old fans and Gary Gygax, they're the problem because they're sexist. But this is the people they hire.
This is Wizards of the Coast, ladies and gentlemen.
And he's now working for MTG, which is Magic the Gathering, owned by Hasbro, who owns. So they basically just they shuffled him around.
Yeah.
He's working for Hasbro, who sent Pinkertons to people. Do you see how shit this company is?
Yeah. Again, stop. I'm saying that again. I cannot beat this dead horse enough. This is nothing new. When news breaks, like what they use the Pinkertons for, is nothing new to what Wizards is capable of. And it has done.
This stuff is arguably worse than the Pinkerton stuff.
Yeah. Then you have
because he's still working there.
Yeah, literally doxed the accusers to the accused.
Yeah, but if you follow Trump on Twitter, you get fired.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, if we were to go into everything that Wizards of the Coast has done, over the past 10 years, we'd be here for a long time. This is just in the past few years.
Yeah,
and this is not everything that they've done.
Yeah, basically, if you want to play D&D, go to eBay and buy the 3.5 editions rule books. Do not give this company money. Seriously, I'm not for cancel culture or anything like that, but this is true shit.
Like they are in ways worse than Lucasfilm, worse than Disney.
They are
ways worse than Disney, and it's just again. I'm like you. I don't like telling people how to spend their money or anything like that, and I think words like now words like shill are getting thrown out way.
Oh, Shill is
casually.
the new bigot and racist. It's
Yeah, I
just
know
from the
it's
other
going
side.
getting thrown out way too casually, and it's like become like like racist and it's lost its meaning essentially. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not again I will have my criticisms like for in some cases, but I'm not going to outright call someone a shill or anything like that if they choose to spend their money a certain way. I don't believe in that. I tell people if you really want to send a message to companies close your wallets. But again, that's just me suggesting something. I'm not telling anybody how or where to spend his or her money. I'm not going to do that. But in this case, I'm like, with all this, you support the company still, yet complain, you've lost your right to complain. In this case, like again, don't want to tell them where to spend their money or how to spend their money, but it really becomes hypocritical if you do this and yes, complain about the same, like it's like same shit, different day. Definition of insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that's what happens when you continue to support a company who does this shit, who has done the shit and is still doing this shit, and you still give them money, and and shit doesn't change, and you complain about this stuff. It's falling on deaf ears. It falls on mine. Like I don't want to listen to people complaining about that. And I ask them, "All right, are you still giving them money? Yes, then you have no right to complain. You want to send a message? Close your wallets. You really want to send a message? Close your wallets. Don't sign a petition on change.org or anything like that. Close your wallets. Because money talks louder than words to these companies. And if you continue to spend money on these companies, then you kind of lose your right to complain at that point, because they're not changing.
No,
Why
they're
would you
actually
spend
they're actually getting worse.
I know I'm saying, like, why would you continue to support a company who's not only not changing but getting worse?
Yeah.
I just don't
If you
get
want
that.
a great role playing experience, get the one we're playing is second edition Conan, but it functions as 3.5 edition D&D. You only need one book. You don't need the monster manual or the DM stuff or anything. It's one book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, buy the 5th edition, burn it. That'll show them. Yeah, I think that's what people like. Would do that stuff and buy like a player's jersey, something like that, just to burn it on. Like you still gave them money.
Yeah, D&D 5th edition is for midgets.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's play 5th edition and drink Bud Light. They actually go together.
Oh my god. Okay, but anyway. But there it is, folks. I mean, again, we weren't even covering everything. We weren't even covering
This
everything.
is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. But I figured I'd dedicate the entirety of Cringe Factory to Witches of the Coast because that whole whole story with the Pinkertons, I was like, okay, there's no way we cannot talk about this and not go into other shit that Wizards has done, pretty much. So there it is. So before we do our outros, essentially before I say so long to the chat, quick overview for the coming Wednesdays, right? For the coming Wednesdays, the 1s and 2s streams, right? The 1s and 2s streams for this month will be Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. Okay? Okay, so that'll be the 1s and 2s for this month. And we're going to do those around Memorial Day. So on the 24th will be Top Gun, and on the 31st, because there are 5 Wednesdays this month, on the 31st will be Top Gun Maverick. So you have until the 24th to watch the first Top Gun movie. All right. The 17th, May 17th, is the top 10 discussion, and Stieg, because I told him that he could pick for this month because it's his birthday month, and he picked top 10 film scores and soundtracks. All right.
Yeah, I'm dedicating it to Gravy D in the chat and Miss Martin Muses because their birthdays. I think they share a birthday.
May 17th.
Yes, which is our national day in Norway as well. So, and Teresa is a musical educated thing with any instrument and singing. And Gravy D, he's heard music too.
As May 17th was also my maternal grandmother's birthday. So if she was still alive, that would be her birthday.
You're linked to Norway as well. You need a helmet though, like Viking helmet.
Oh, I was gonna say if you're going like short bus type helmet, I'm gonna smack you.
No, I would never say that to anyone. Heaven forbid.
Face. Yes, heaven forbid. Yes, and okay, the Star Wars fan is coming out. All right, May the 4th is. I love you, Ryan, but May the 4th is cringe to me because the real Star Wars Day is May 25th.
Yep.
The real Star Wars Day is May 25th. This is just cringe marketing shit. But thank you for wishing May the 4th.
We like you anyway, sir.
Yes, I am a nerd. But I'm like, no, the real Star Wars Day is May 25th.
What's
okay?
this?
I'll give you that, Ryan. I'll
Mayo.
give you that. It is
that?
cringe. It is Cringe Factory. I'll give you that.
Lore question. What's Cinco de Mayo?
Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
The 5th of May. May the 5th. It's Day of the Dead.
Okay.
I believe.
I didn't know that because we don't
Cinco?
have.
Did you say Cinco?
Yeah, it says Cinco.
Okay.
I didn't know what it meant. I don't speak Mexican.
Oh God, you just basically insulted the entire Hispanic demographic.
Really? At once?
Yeah. Okay, it's not Day of the Dead. I just didn't know, but Cinco de Mayo. It's Cinco de Mayo.
Okay, well, I don't speak Mexican. I wouldn't know.
It's Spanish, not Mexican. Spanish.
Yeah, but they speak it in both places. Come on.
There's different variations of the Spanish language. I learned that taking Spanish in high school. So.
Yeah, I didn't take any.
But to really piss off Spanish speakers when I was playing COD, I would tell them I don't speak taco.
I know how to really piss them off. You want to know?
Day of the Dead in November. Okay, I don't know. I just know what it stands for in Spanish. What's Sig?
Okay. Keep in mind, I didn't come up with this. I saw it somewhere. But, Mexico are going to do really well in the next Olympics because they're so good at cross country.
Okay, Mexico. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Also, if two of them play basketball, it's a one-on-one. Sorry.
All right.
I'll stop.
All right. But anyway, yes, I just pulled her. Yeah, I'd tell them I don't speak taco, or I'll start just saying random Spanish phrases, or like from Taco Bell, drop the chalupa. Anyway, okay.
I only know Il Puta Madre. I got that from a Western.
Okay, thank you, Tina. I was like, couldn't remember like what exactly it was. Just that's it's not Cinco de Mayo, it's Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, I'll say Yo quiero Taco Bell. Yes, I'll just say that. I'll just say that into my mic, pretty much, because I get some Spanish speakers when I was playing Call of Duty multiplayer. But anyway, all right. So again, all right, the 1s and 2s will be Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. That'll be the 24th and the 31st. And May 17th is the top 10 film scores and soundtracks. All right, so top 10, pick you got to narrow down your top 10 scores and soundtracks.
Yeah. Just your
All right?
favorites. They don't have to be the best. Just your
Yeah, just
favorites.
your personal favorites.
Yeah.
Just your personal favorites. Like me, for example, one of my favorite composers is Elmer Bernstein, right? It's one of my all-time favorite movie composers, and one of the soundtracks I like, even though the movie itself is not that good, scores I like is for Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. Absolutely love the opening score for that movie. Movie is objectively not that good, but the score is brilliant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
And some people, that music that plays during the fights in Rocky.
mhm.
You get that ding ding, and then the music stops. Some people put that on when they shag because it's a great way to speed up because it's
Are
supposed to
you that?
last for
Are
three
you that?
minutes.
Some people. Are you that? Some people.
It's you're supposed to shag for 3 minutes because that's the same as
They sort of
a heavyweight boxing round. So it's a hell of a workout. So 3 minutes. That's and it fits with that Rocky theme.
All right, but speaking of Space Hunter, since there is 5 Wednesdays this month, I was going to do another retro reels discussion, and I had narrowed it down to either Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone or The Warriors. Because if you actually, and I agree with Lethal on this to an extent, if you think about The Warriors, it's kind of like a modern version of the Odyssey. If you think about it, it's a modern version of the Odyssey. There are differences, but it is a modern version telling of the Odyssey. So,
Well, people are asking if it's a single song, if it's composed music and not songs used as a soundtrack. Like anything goes, I guess.
yeah,
Just the movie with your
for
favorite
example,
stuff
as far as like soundtracks, just to give an example, I'm not saying this will be on my list, but I love the movie Bullet Train, and one of the things I love about Bullet Train is the songs they chose. Like an actual soundtrack. These like songs, not composed songs. Very much I worked with the movie, in my opinion. That would be a good soundtrack, in my opinion. So it could be that. It could be the entirety, like the songs they picked. So
the songs in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. So
something.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be just composed music. It can be a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Right. It's like for me, I would say the Lord of the Rings trilogy versus an individual movie. But if I were to as an example of composed music, I love the music in that entire trilogy. I would narrow it to like just the trilogy versus narrowing it down to like one particular movie in that trilogy. But that would be an example of composed music I love. So it could be, like I said, it could be soundtrack. Danny Elfman's score for the 1989 Batman, I love the theme. So that'd be an example, pretty much.
Yeah, that theme is awesome.
I'm saying it's it could be does not have to be narrowed down to just composed film scores. That's why I said film scores / soundtracks.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so that is it. So,
which day was it?
The 17th for that top 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I really have to think about which retro reel discussion I want to do because I love both movies. Both movies, Space Hunter, and I love The Warriors.
Roll the dice.
All right, I gotta get my dice. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me find my D20.
Can I pick what's 1 to 10 and stuff?
Sure. Just. All right. Yep.
Okay. Space Hunters is 1 to 10. Warriors is 11 to 20.
All right. Okay, guys. Okay, so here's my D20, just so I have. 17, the Warriors.
Yep.
So, yep.
D&D dice are good for all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. You know what Teresa uses them for? To pick what tea to drink.
Yeah. So there it is, chat. With the roll of the die, the retro reels discussion will be the Warriors. So you have until next week, the 10th, to watch that movie. So if you have not seen it, you're kind of in for a treat, in my opinion. If you have not seen it. So, but I figured I kind of picked it also because I had gone into a little bit of how like The Last Starfighter has a hero's journey in it. Since I'm going to be an English teacher, well, the Warriors is a modern adaptation in a sense of the Odyssey. So, well, I'd have to be able to find the director's cuts. But I'll let you all know. I'll let you know what I find, and like once I do, I'll tweet it out. I'll post make a post, and like which one I'm going to be talking about. So, but that is, hey, Conspirious. Roll again. Well, at some point I'll talk about Space Hunter. It's not going to go away just because I'm not talking about it this time. But next week will be the Warriors. So thank you all. All right, Stieg, again, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Well, Twitter. I'm shit at following back, though. I don't even know how many followers I have, actually. It takes me like 6 months because I'll see those suggested people on the side, and it says follows you. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's when I'll follow back. Yeah. And other than that, I'll be on Teresa's channel, Miss Martin Muses, on Saturday for the continuation of The Magician by Raymond Feist. We're going through the book and having a blast because that is a damn good book. If you like the Lord of the Rings, that one's.
I've started Halo Reach. I've started the Fall of Reach again. So
you have
on a Halo kick. I know I have the Magician, but I have so many freaking books.
Well, afterwards, read that one.
All right. Okay.
Important. Otherwise, 10 puppies will keel over in India. Anyway, that's where I'll be, Miss Martin Muses.
Yeah, this is my live channel. Like I said, normally I do solo streams early Friday afternoons, but because I'm babysitting my niece in the evening, I'm going to forgo the solo live stream so I can get a couple hours of gaming stream in. And what I plan to do early Friday afternoon is play some Apex Team Deathmatch. Just hang out with you guys, chill for a bit. This is Ms. Martin Uses channel, so check out her videos and streams, the book streams. This is my kick. I created it as initially as a backup to Twitter, but if Twitch keeps going the way of the shit that they're pulling with the hypocrisy and so forth, probably is becoming a big contender to Twitch. So I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be on Kick tomorrow playing some more Halo 2 campaign. All right, and this is my Twitch. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on Twitch or Kick on Friday afternoon. Most likely Twitch. Just again, so I'm not completely giving it up. So that's the plan. So again, Kick tomorrow for Halo 2. Then Twitch with Apex TDM for a couple hours Friday afternoon. Because I won't be free in the evening. Essentially what happens is I put something on and she just sits there and watches it. I love that she's at that age where it's like you can like put on a Pixar film and she just sits there. But anyway, yeah, I'm close. I don't think I'll finish it necessarily tomorrow, but I'm close. I'm pretty damn close. But anyway, again, thank you all for hanging out with us. So have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And we will see you all next time. Peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.